With the release of Trailer 1 and 2 of GTA 6, almost every single gamer is anticipating the next and greatest title in Rockstar's GTA franchise, including those who play on PC. But while we, PC gamers, wait until 2027 or 2028 or whenever for GTA 6 to come out on PC, we can use this time to play more GTA 5, I guess. Regardless of whether our PCs are top of the line or absolute utter potatoes, like this bad boy right here, which goes by the name of Lenovo IdeaPad 115 IBY, and despite the fact that its specs are as crappy as my future, it can actually run quite a few games, ranging from Minesweeper to, you guessed it, GTA 5.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
Now, the laptop used to have only 4GB of RAM and Windows was running on a slow hard drive, which made things even laggier. Thankfully, that's no longer the case, as we now have 8GB of RAM at our disposal, as well as a brand new SSD. In addition, I'm using Windows 7 this time, as it's a necessity when using such a low-end machine like mine, mainly to fix the textures not loading issue that you usually see on these very low-end CPUs.
Why are you using Windows 7, which is super duper and Celeron is no longer supported when you could just upgrade to Windows 11 instead? Also, how did you even get GTA 5 to work on Windows 7 when Rockstar Games Launcher doesn't even support Windows 7 anymore?
Well, guess what, buddy? And as for how I got GTA 5 to work on Windows 7, the answer is very simple. Now, in order to get GTA 5 to work on this little monster, there's one little thing that we have to do. See, the very first time you launch the game, it defaults to using DirectX 11, which on this laptop makes GTA 5 get stuck on a black screen before closing a few minutes later. But after opening the config file and changing the DX version value to 0, which makes the game run in DirectX 10 instead of 11, the game successfully launches. Using the default low aka normal settings and the 800x600 resolution, the little Intel Celeron N2840 of this laptop was barely able to give 10 FPS, with those 10 FPS dropping even below that when you try to drive fast. It was only when looking down or up at the sky when we could get 20 FPS? I mean, I could imagine a little kid who doesn't know any better enjoy playing like this, but yeah, playing GTA 5 with these FPS in slow motion is not exactly great. So, let's get to work. We will first set the game to windowed borderless. Then we're going to return to the config file, from where we're going to tweak down the graphics to as low as possible. We're going to disable the unnecessary things like shadows and most reflections, but that's not all. We're going to reduce the draw distance of the game dramatically by lowering down the LOD values. So we're going to set the LOD scale, pet LOD bias and vehicle LOD bias to their lowest possible values, which are -2. And down at the bottom, we're going to set the max LOD scale value to the lowest that we can without making the game completely unplayable, which is -1. Now, I've already covered what each one of these values control in the older videos I've done on getting GTA 5 to run on an extremely low-end PC, so go check them out from the links in the description. Also, remember when we set the game to windowed borderless? Well, that allows us to drop the resolution below 800x600. I'm going to go with 640x400 as it's a widescreen resolution and it's supported by the Intel HD graphics of the Celeron in this video, which will be useful when I lower down the resolution of Windows before launching the game to make it full screen like. And on top of that, I'm going to set the frame scaling mode option to half, so the actual resolution that we will be running GTA 5 at is 320 by 200. And this, my friends, is how you can take GTA 5 from being a slow motion slideshow to actually running kinda well. I know this looks worse than a PS1 title, I know the resolution that we're using right now might make you go blind after a few minutes of playing, I know Franklin looks like a Minecraft character or something like that right now, I know the cars lose their wheels as soon as you enter them, but the FPS are actually good now. Mostly at around 20 to 30 FPS with some drops to around 15 FPS when driving fast in those more demanding areas, but you know what? Let's just ignore those frame drops. Instead, let's appreciate the fact that GTA 5 is even working, yet alone running on an ultra low power Celeron. For reference guys, the Celeron N2840 that this laptop has is weaker than even some mobile Core Duos from 2006. So even 19-year-old CPUs are faster than this Celeron, yet it's still running GTA 5 somehow. While yes, the game is quite old nowadays, it came out 12 years ago and 10 years ago on PC, but I mean, come on, this thing is using 2 watts of power, and it's still powering GTA 5 somehow. Freaking GTA 5 guys! Now here are the pros and cons of playing GTA 5 like this. Let's start off with the pros. Number 1. The FPS are much better. Number 2. Because you aren't using any mods, GTA Online can also be played. And that's it. Now for the cons. Number 1. This resolution is awful. Like, no joke. It actually made aiming at stuff a bigger challenge. Not impossible, but definitely a bit more difficult. Although, to be honest, the game was still manageable, as you can still make up what's going on with enough squinting of the eyes. Now, it would have made a bit more sense to use a higher resolution, since the Celeron N2840 is severely bottlenecking the Intel HD graphics page rail, its own integrated GPU. But on this channel, every little drop of FPS matters, so yeah. Number 2, which I like to call liquid graphics. Because we have lowered the LOD bias and max LOD scale values so drastically, what happens is that most roads, buildings, houses, etc. get a weird, more blocky look to them. Behind these blocky walls and floors that supposedly replace most of the detail, you can see that the detail is actually still there. It's just hidden behind the glitchy graphical liquids that now make up much of the visuals.
Yeah, you saw this motherfucker? Oh shit!
This can actually make some missions more difficult. Here, for example, at this balcony on the building to our right, there's a guy that's shooting at us. However, because he's hidden behind a blocky liquid, I couldn't see him. Number 3. The low poly character models that you get by setting the pet LOD bias value to -2 don't always work. See, as soon as you start a mission, the game loads the normal model of your protagonist. Now, I've noticed that usually when a cutscene starts, all the characters involved in that cutscene revert back to their normal models. The only way to get back all the low poly models is to restart the game. It's not a big deal though, and you can always revert the pet LOD bias value back to 0 if you think the low poly characters are a little bit too much. But all in all, I didn't run into any serious issues playing like this. I played for around 2 hours on this laptop with these settings, while also finishing the first few missions just to make sure things are stable, and everything, well, almost everything, was fine. So yeah, in 2025, we finally got GTA 5 to run on the Intel Celeron N2840 and Intel HD graphics page rail, and all it took was a few changes to the configuration file, and Windows 7, and 8GB of RAM, and an SSD. Yay!